All right, be honest with me for a second. How many times have you stood in the kitchen, opened the fridge, stared into it like it might suddenly offer advice, and then thought, I'm too tired for this? If you're living on a fixed income, cooking for one, or just plain worn out from life doing what life does best, this video is for you. Today we're talking about cheap one-pan meals that actually fill you up, don't wreck your budget, and don't leave you with a sink full of dishes glaring at you like you've disappointed them personally. These are the kinds of meals you make when your energy is low, your patience is thinner than you'd like to admit, and you still want something warm, comforting, and decent on your plate. No fancy ingredients, no marathon cooking sessions, just real food, real portions, and real relief at dinner time. So grab a seat, loosen up a little, and let's make dinner easier, because you deserve that. 1. Sunny side up sweet potato hash. This one feels humble at first glance, but don't let that fool you. Sweet potato hash has saved more tired evenings than most of us care to admit. Here's the thing about sweet potatoes. They're cheap, forgiving, and they don't mind being ignored for a few extra minutes while you sit down and rest your knees. That alone makes them senior approved in my book. You dice them up, toss them in a pan with a little oil, and let them do their thing. No rushing. If they get a little crispy on the edges, congratulations, you just upgraded the meal. What really turns this into comfort food is the egg. That sunny side up egg is not just for protein, it's a morale booster. There's something deeply satisfying about breaking that yolk and letting it spill over the potatoes, like a sauce you absolutely didn't have to pay extra for. It's simple, but it feels intentional, like you planned it that way. Now, here's where experience kicks in. This meal is incredibly adaptable to your energy level. Feeling ambitious? Add onions, peppers, or leftover sausage. Feeling tired? Potatoes and eggs are enough. One pan, one plate, and you're done. I've had this on mornings when breakfast turned into lunch, and on evenings when I didn't feel like making dinner at all. And let's talk digestion for a second. Sweet potatoes tend to be easier on the stomach than white potatoes for many seniors. They're filling without that heavy, bloated feeling. You eat this, and you feel satisfied, not sluggish. That matters more than most people realize. This is the kind of meal that says you showed up for yourself today, even if the rest of the day was a mess. 2. Lentil stew-ish, one-pan wonder. If lentils had better marketing, every senior kitchen would have a bag sitting front and center. They're cheap, shelf-stable, and shockingly nutritious. But more importantly, they're easy. No soaking, no drama. You rinse them, toss them in a pan, add water, and let time do the work. That's it. Lentils don't ask much from you, and honestly, at this stage of life, that's exactly the kind of relationship we want. What makes this meal special is the way it quietly becomes comforting while you're not paying attention. At first, it looks like soup, then it thickens. Then suddenly, you've got something hearty, warm, and deeply satisfying. It's not fancy, it's dependable. I like to think of this as the slow exhale meal. Garlic and a little oil, lentils, water or broth, and a spice or two. You don't need to be precise. Lentils forgive everything. Too much water? Simmer longer? Too thick? Add more liquid? Forgot about it for 5 minutes? Congratulations. Deeper flavor. This is also one of those meals that feels good the next day, maybe even better. The flavors settle in, the texture gets creamier, and suddenly leftovers feel like a reward instead of a burden. That's a rare thing, and emotionally, there's something grounding about a bowl of lentils. It's warm, it's steady. It reminds you that simple food can still nourish you deeply, body and soul. 3. Tuna and pea pasta skillet. Now, this one gets a bad rap until you try it done right. Canned tuna has been unfairly judged for years, mostly because we've all had at least one sad tuna dish in our lives. But when you treat it gently and pair it with pasta and peas, it becomes something surprisingly comforting. This is pantry cooking at its finest. Pasta goes into the pan, water goes in, and you let it cook right there. No extra pot, no draining. That starchy water becomes part of the sauce. which is a little kitchen magic that doesn't get enough credit. When the pasta is almost done, you fold in the tuna and peas. The heat warms everything through without drying it out. Here's the trick that makes it feel like a real meal instead of something I threw together. A little fat and a little brightness. That might be olive oil, a spoon of mayo, or even a splash of milk. Then something sharp, lemon juice, vinegar, or even pickle juice if you're feeling bold. Suddenly, it's creamy, balanced, and satisfying. This meal shines when you're tired, but still want something warm and filling. It's soft on the teeth, easy on the stomach, and packed with protein, which is something many seniors don't get enough of without realizing it. And yes, it's okay to eat this straight out of the pan. Fewer dishes, fewer regrets. 4. Chickpea and spinach curry. This is one of those meals that sounds fancier than it actually is, which I consider a huge win. Curry makes it feel like you tried, even if all you really did was open a couple of cans and stir occasionally. Chickpeas are the backbone here. They're cheap, filling, and somehow manage to feel hearty without weighing you down. You toss them into a pan with a little oil, maybe some onion or garlic if you've got the energy, and sprinkle in curry powder. You know that moment when the spices hit the heat and your kitchen starts smelling like something special? That's the payoff. That's the part where you feel like a real cook, even if you're still in slippers. Then come the tomatoes and spinach. Canned tomatoes are doing a lot of heavy lifting here, adding flavor and body without asking much of you. Frozen spinach is especially forgiving. It doesn't judge if you forgot about it in the freezer for 3 months. You stir it all together, let it simmer, and suddenly it turns into this warm, comforting bowl of goodness that feels far more luxurious than its price tag. What I love about this meal is how steady it is. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. It doesn't leave you hungry an hour later. It just quietly does its job. You eat it, you feel nourished, and you don't feel like you need a nap immediately afterward, which, let's be honest, is a real selling point. And if you eat it over rice, toast, or straight from the bowl, all correct answers. By the way, if you're sitting there thinking, I love these ideas, but I really don't want to figure out what to cook every single night, I get it. Truly. That's exactly why I use a simple 4-week meal plan with grocery lists. Nothing fancy, just affordable, realistic meals like these that take the thinking out of dinner. I pinned the link in the comments so it's there whenever you need it. 5. Breakfast for dinner, rice plus eggs, plus veg. Now, this one feels like cheating in the best possible way. Breakfast for dinner is what you make when your energy is low, your patience is thin, and you still want something warm and filling. Rice is the quiet hero here. It's cheap, it stretches, and it gives structure to whatever else you throw in. Fresh rice works fine, but leftover rice is where this really shines. It reheats beautifully and saves you time, which counts as self-care in my book. You warm the rice in a pan, crack in a couple of eggs, and gently stir until everything comes together. The eggs coat the rice and turn it into something comforting and soft, without being mushy. Then you add vegetables, whatever you've got. Frozen veggies are perfect because they're already chopped and ready to go. No peeling, no fuss, just pour and stir. This meal is endlessly forgiving. Too dry? Add a splash of water or oil. Too bland? A little soy sauce, salt, or even ketchup if that's your thing. No judgment here. The goal isn't perfection, it's nourishment without stress. And there's something emotionally comforting about breakfast foods at night. It feels familiar, safe, and uncomplicated. Like putting on an old sweater you don't have to impress anyone in. Plus, eggs are one of the most affordable sources of protein out there, which makes this meal quietly powerful for seniors trying to eat well on a budget. 6. Sausage and cabbage sizzle. This is old-school comfort food, and it knows exactly what it is. Cabbage doesn't get enough credit. It's cheap, lasts forever in the fridge, and transforms completely when cooked. Raw cabbage is loud and crunchy. Cooked cabbage is soft, slightly sweet, and deeply comforting. It's one of those vegetables that feels like it was designed for simple one-pan cooking. You start by browning sausage in a pan, and yes, the smell alone is half the reason to make this. Once the sausage releases its flavor and fat, you add sliced cabbage and let it wilt down slowly. This is not a rush job. Low heat, gentle stirring, and patience are what make this dish shine. As the cabbage cooks, it absorbs all that savory goodness from the sausage. A splash of vinegar or a squeeze of lemon at the end wakes everything up and balances the richness. Suddenly, you've got a meal that's hearty without being heavy and deeply satisfying without being expensive. What makes this especially good for seniors is how kind it is to the body. Cooked cabbage is easier to digest than raw, and it's packed with fiber and nutrients. You feel full, but not uncomfortable, which is a delicate balance that this dish gets just right. This is the kind of meal that sticks with you in a good way. You eat it slowly. You don't need seconds, but you might want them anyway. And when you're done, there's a sense of quiet satisfaction, like you made something solid, something reliable. 7. One-pan goulash-style tomato pasta. This is comfort food that doesn't need a resume. Goulash-style pasta is one of those meals that feels like it came from a time when people cooked with what they had and didn't apologize for it. You're basically letting pasta cook right in a tomato sauce, which sounds almost too simple, but that's exactly why it works. You start with onion and garlic if you have the energy. If you don't, the world keeps spinning anyway. Canned tomatoes go in, a little water to help the pasta cook, and then the pasta itself. Everything simmers together in one pan, soaking up flavor as it goes. No draining, no extra pot, no oops, I overcooked it moment, because you're watching it the whole time. What makes this meal special is the texture. The pasta releases starch into the sauce, thickening it naturally. You end up with something that's rich and comforting without needing cream, cheese, or anything fancy. It's warm, slightly tangy, and deeply satisfying. The kind of food that makes you sit back after the first bite and think, yeah, that'll do. You can add meat if you want, but you don't have to. A little paprika, salt, and pepper go a long way. This dish doesn't demand much seasoning because the tomato base carries the show. It's forgiving, too. Too thick? Add water. Too thin? Let it simmer longer. This meal works with you, not against you. There's something emotionally grounding about eating a bowl of tomato pasta that's been simmering gently on the stove. It feels familiar, reliable, and kind, like it's reminding you that dinner doesn't need to impress anyone. It just needs to show up. And yes, it reheats beautifully. In fact, some would argue it tastes better the next day, and those people would be correct. 8. Black bean and corn, skillet fiesta. Now, this one brings a little joy into the kitchen without demanding energy you don't have. Black beans and corn are two of the most dependable ingredients out there. They're cheap, shelf-stable, or freezer-friendly, and when you put them together, they just work. Add a few spices, and suddenly you've got something that feels lively instead of end-of-the-week, fridge-is-empty food. You warm the beans and corn in a pan with a little oil. Sprinkle in cumin or chili powder, and let everything heat through. That's the base. From there, you can adjust it to your mood. Want it richer? A bit of oil or cheese? Want it brighter? Lime juice or vinegar? Want it softer? Let it simmer longer. This meal meets you where you are. What I love about this dish is how filling it is without being heavy. Beans are packed with protein and fiber, which means you feel satisfied longer, and that's important when you're watching your grocery budget. It's also easy on the body, especially when everything is cooked gently and well seasoned. This skillet has personality too. It's cheerful food. It doesn't take itself too seriously. You can eat it in a bowl, scoop it up with bread or tortillas, or even eat it straight out of the pan while standing at the stove. No judgment. Some meals are like that. And here's the quiet magic. It doesn't feel like budget food. It feels intentional, colorful, warm, alive. The kind of meal that reminds you that eating well doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It just has to be thoughtful. 9. Sautéed tilapia, plus lemon couscous. This is one of those meals that quietly makes you feel like you've got your life together, even if you absolutely do not. Tilapia is a wonderful fish for this stage of life because it's mild, quick to cook, and usually affordable when bought frozen. It doesn't fight you in the pan. It doesn't smell up the house, and it cooks fast enough that you're not standing there wondering why you started this in the first place. You warm a little oil in the pan, lay the fish down, and let it do its thing. No poking, no flipping every 10 seconds. Fish likes confidence. Give it a few minutes, flip it once, and that's it. A squeeze of lemon at the end wakes it up and makes the whole dish feel bright and intentional, like you meant to eat something healthy tonight. Now, the couscous is where the magic happens. Couscous cooks in minutes and doesn't require much supervision. You add water or broth right to the same pan once the fish is done. Stir in the couscous, cover it, and let it steam. It absorbs flavor beautifully and turns fluffy without any effort. Honestly, couscous might be one of the most underappreciated pantry staples out there. What makes this meal so good is how balanced it feels. The fish is light and protein-rich. The couscous is comforting without being heavy. The lemon keeps everything from feeling dull. You eat it, and instead of feeling stuffed, you feel nourished, which is a rare and beautiful thing. And let's be honest, when dinner looks this nice but only dirtied one pan, you deserve a little smug satisfaction. 10. Stuffed pepper skillet. This one is a personal favorite because it gives you all the comfort of stuffed peppers, without the "why did I turn on the oven" regret. Traditional stuffed peppers are lovely, but they require patience, standing, and a baking dish that somehow always ends up heavier than expected. The skillet version skips all of that. You get the flavor, the texture, and the satisfaction without the extra effort. You chop bell peppers into bite-sized pieces and sauté them in a pan until they soften. Already the kitchen smells good. Then you add cooked rice and either ground meat or beans. Everything gets stirred together with tomatoes and seasoning, and you let it simmer until the flavors marry. It becomes cozy and rich, but still light enough that you don't feel weighed down afterward. What I love about this dish is how forgiving it is. Too much rice? Add more tomatoes? Too saucy? Let it cook a bit longer. Forgot to measure? Perfect. This meal doesn't believe in measuring anyway. It's comfort food that understands you're doing your best. This is also one of those meals that feels especially kind to the body. Everything is soft, well-cooked, and easy to chew. It's filling without being overwhelming, and it sits comfortably, which matters more than we admit. And when you're done, you've got a pan full of something warm, familiar, and deeply satisfying. The kind of meal that feels like a small victory, not because it was complicated, but because it was thoughtful. So there you have it. 10 one-pan meals that prove eating well on a fixed income doesn't mean boring, tiny, or sad food. It's really about cooking smarter, being a little kinder to yourself, and giving yourself some grace along the way. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that dinner doesn't have to be perfect to be nourishing. Some nights, good enough is actually great. One pan, simple ingredients, and that quiet little satisfaction of knowing you took care of yourself today. That's the real win. And if you want to make it even easier on yourself, remember that simple 4-week meal plan with grocery lists I mentioned earlier. It lays all of this out. What to cook, what to buy, and how to stop overthinking dinner. I've pinned the link in the comments so it's there whenever you need it. Now, if this helped you even a little, do me a favor. Tap the like button so more folks who need easy, affordable meals can find it. And if you want more simple ideas like these, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Tell me in the comments which meal you're most likely to try first, or which one you've already made without realizing it had a fancy name. Until next time, take care of yourself. And yes, it's perfectly fine to eat straight out of the pan.